Could one of Imu-sama's weaknesses actually be the Buccaneers? During chapter 1150, we saw a glimpse of Imu's abilities. He possessed Gunko and took over his body, where we saw him pull out a mysterious book. This book seemed to be the source of most of Imu's attacks, like when he summoned a gun and a sword, both of which came from that book. Even when he turned Dory and the others into demon-like forms, the spell he used also originated from the same book. So, it makes us wonder, what exactly is this book? Could it be that this book contains the powers of all the devil fruits in the world? In other words, perhaps every single ability, from the strongest ones like the Gura Gura no Mi, the Yami Yami no Mi, and even Trafalgar Law's Ope Aim no Mi, is recorded inside this book. If you think about it, this idea actually makes sense. Unlike most characters in One Piece who are desperate to find rare devil fruits, we never really see the world government actively searching for them, even though they clearly have the resources to do so. Why would they bother hunting for powerful devil fruits if they already possess a book that contains every single power in existence, right? Now that leads us to another question. If all devil fruit powers are supposedly inside this book, then why is Imu so terrified of Joy Boy? In recent chapters, we've seen Imu tremble in fear just at the mention of Joy Boy's name. Even when Emmet unleashed his Haki one that originated from his friend Joy Boy 800 years ago, Imu was visibly shaken. Could the reason be that Joy Boy's devil fruit, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, is the only one not recorded in Imu's book? In other words, yes, all powers may be inside Imu's book, but the power of the sun god Nika is the sole exception. It's possible that, at some point in history, Joy Boy's side managed to tear out the page that contained information about the Nika fruit from the book. Could this be the reason why Imu is so afraid of the sun god Nika's power? Because it's the only one missing from his book? Anyway, going back to chapter 1150 when we saw that double panel showing the full force of Imu's army, currently led by Brogy and Dory, Imu mentioned that this is the true power of Elbaf. But what exactly did he mean by that? Could it be that what Imu was referring to as the true power of Elbaf is actually how the giants originally looked like in ancient times? If we think about it, the giants of Elbaf are said to live in the land of warriors, a nation known as the strongest in the world because of its brave and powerful fighters. But what we're seeing now doesn't quite match that reputation. Their current state feels far from the legendary strength they were once known for, which makes it suspicious whether this is really the Elbaf Imu was talking about. To clarify, even though we've already seen King Harold's flashback, it's noticeable that the giants from his era weren't as fierce or battle-hardened anymore. Meaning, the Elbaf Imu remembers the era of the true giants likely existed more than 200 years ago, or even further back. It's possible that this was what the giants literally looked like back then, monstrous and divine, and that something, or someone, changed them. And if you ask me who might have had the ability to cause such a transformation, the first name that comes to mind is Kuma a Buccaneer. Why? Because during the Egghead Island arc, Oda already gave us a small example of this concept. Remember how Kuma had his humanity erased when he became a complete cyborg? Technically, he should have lost all traces of being human. Yet, because of his daughter, Bonnie, he somehow regained his consciousness, his humanity. When Vegapunk saw this, he was completely shocked. It was at that moment he mentioned the special characteristics of the Buccaneer race. Could it be that the Buccaneers have the unique ability to restore those who have been corrupted or altered by the devil's contracts? Like how Kuma was able to bring himself back to normal despite being fully modified? If that's true, then this could explain why the world government decided to wipe out the Buccaneer race entirely. It could also be the reason why Saint Saturn has such deep hatred toward Kuma. Let me just add this, guys. During the God Valley incident, we know that a young Kuma and Saturn actually faced each other. Kuma even mentioned later on that he managed to save many people during that event, which implies that he defeated Saturn. Now the question is, how did Kuma manage to defeat Saturn? We saw during the Egghead Island arc just how terrifyingly powerful Saturn truly is. And the fact that Kuma, who had just recently eaten his devil fruit, was able to overpower Saturn back then is highly suspicious. Could this be another hint toward the hidden power of the Buccaneers? A power even the Gorosei fear? Could it be that Kuma possesses another ability besides his devil fruit power? What if he actually freed Saturn from Imu's devil's contract back in the past? Maybe that's what Oda was foreshadowing, when Kuma once said that if he ever had any special power, he would use it to save people. Could that very power be the one destined to defeat Imu-sama? In short, the phrase Hands of Liberation, often associated with Kuma, might not just be a symbolic title. What if it's literal? What if Oda is trying to show us that the Buccaneers truly have the ability to liberate people from Imu's devil contracts, to free them from Imu's control? In the current Elbaf arc, Kuma is actually present, and if our theory is correct, that the Buccaneers have the power to restore the consciousness of those bound by the Devil's contract, then Kuma could very well do this right now in Elbaf, especially since most of the giants seem to be under Imu's control at the moment. This could be the perfect way for Kuma to save Broggy, Dory, and the rest of the giants from Imu's wrath, preventing their deaths and turning the tide of battle. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens next in this incredibly thrilling Elbaf arc. Anyway, if you have your own thoughts or theories about the Buccaneers' mysterious ability, particularly about them possibly breaking Imu's devil contracts, or your own ideas about the strange book that Imu uses, feel free to share them in the comment section below so we can discuss them together. That's it for now. Peace.